And welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk with one assemblyman who warns of an impending affordable housing crisis. My guest this segment is David Chiu, a member of the State Assembly from San Francisco, also a member of the Housing and Community Development Committee. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me on, Steve.
So I know you are sort of championing the affordable housing issue in the legislature. How would you assess the problem right now?
Well, California is in the midst of an affordable housing crisis. In recent years, if you live in San Diego, in Orange County, in Southern California, in Los Angeles, or up in the Bay Area, San Francisco, all up and down the state, we have so many Californians who are really struggling to make ends meet, to be able to afford to live in California. We have in our state 12% of the country's population, but 20% of the country's homeless population, almost a quarter of our country's homeless veterans, 30% of our homeless youth. And this is only a part of the problem. We have working families and middle-class folks who are really struggling to be able to continue to live in the places where they grew up, in part because of the rising cost of housing, in part because we're not building enough affordable housing.
Are you talking about availability or the condition of some of this affordable housing?
It's actually both. It's the condition of housing that has been deteriorating without any source of money to be able to rebuild them, and I have actually proposed a new tax credit in order to rebuild some of our most dilapidated and deteriorated housing. But we also don't have enough money to build new housing. In fact, it's been estimated that California needs 1 million new affordable homes to really start to meet some of the demand that we have. And if we can't figure this out, the growing income gaps, the inequalities that we're seeing in our state will continue to exacerbate.
Briefly, how would this tax credit work?
Well, there are a number of ways that policymakers are talking about funding affordable housing. So a tax credit that I've proposed would allow a pot of money to rebuild some of the lowest income housing in the state, the most deteriorated housing in the state. But we have to have a conversation also about a permanent source of funding to build affordable housing. This is a concept that's been discussed for a number of years since we lost monies from so-called redevelopment agencies. Right. And we need to replenish this pot so that we can ensure that the middle class and working families can continue to afford to live in our great and golden state.
And your $40 million tax credit is just starting to work its way through the Assembly.
Yes, right. That's right.
I want to segue very briefly to another issue because I know you are pushing hard to gather votes for the Assembly Speaker Toni Atkins for her, I guess, $2 billion transportation funding overhaul.
Well, I think a couple things are important to put that in context. We have a $60 billion infrastructure hole when it comes to what we are not investing in our roads, our highways, our bridges. Right now, California is ranked 49th out of 50 states when it comes to the percentage of our roads that are in poor condition. Literally 60% of the roads that we bump along are in dire need of repair. And every dollar that we don't invest to really keep our roads up will mean $4 to $10 in the future that we're going to have to actually build. We know that a tiny pothole today is going to expand to be a massive sinkhole tomorrow. So this is really a way of investing in our future. We also know that the average car owner spends about $800 a year dealing with the repairs that come from bumping on roads that have potholes or that aren't fixed the way they should.
And the gas tax doesn't cover everything that's needed, so you're trying to expand it to those who don't use gasoline, a user fee for the Tesla drivers.
Exactly right. What we've found in recent years is the gas tax has been collecting less and less as cars have become more fuel efficient, as well as we have more electric cars on the road. So the source of money that we used to get to rebuild our roads has gone down, and we are contemplating what is referred to as a user charge to really get more funds back into our streets.
All right. David Chiu of San Francisco, thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt. We'll see you next time.